I've recently rediscovered Caesar Milan, who I love. I know he used to be controversial. I hope he's not anymore because he's an amazing, amazing trainer. He is so zen. He's all about balancing your own energy to better be able to train your dogs. You're not really training your dogs, you're training yourself. Managing, balancing your own energy. His show now, he used to be called The Dog Whisperer. Now his show is um, Better Human, Better Dog. It's just so beautiful. I was so glad I ran into him. I haven't seen him for years because he switched stations. Anyway, there's a reason why I'm saying this. A few weeks ago, I watched a show where he was dealing with a woman. It was a couple that had two dogs, and the dogs got into fights, and it was the human energy. Once he calmed the human energy, the dogs were fine. It's just totally amazing. Anyway, the woman, it turns out, was terrified of the dogs fighting. And whenever he noticed, he was in their home, when the dogs would even just make a little move, something happened, she screamed. And he's like, what? What? And he'd been talking to them for a while. This might have even been his second visit to the house. And he took her aside and said, What what is going on? What are you so afraid of? And it turns out she'd been attacked. I forget what country she was from, but somewhere where the dogs ran around, um, feral dogs. And she'd been attacked and badly bitten by a dog. And so that fear was in her body. And he sent her to, I don't know if it was his psychiatrist or therapist, whatever, if he suggested somebody, but he suggested she go to therapy. And the next time they met, she came to the Dog Psychology Center. I don't know if you guys know him. Look for his show. It's on National Geographic. Um, it's just so wonderful. It's this huge center in Southern California, or other animals on it too. And the next time he saw her, she was so much better. And she said, I know that I still have a lot to work through, but I'm processing this fear, and it's really, really helping. And there's more work to do. And I'm thinking, Reiki. So I'm not against talk therapy. It's very useful. I've experienced it myself. But Reiki can help with the fear or other emotions, usually fear, that's trapped in your body. Fear creates anger and hatred and all kinds of stupid stuff. It's fear. It's all fear. It all boils down to fear. And so I thought about it, which made me think of a story, which I'm getting to now. A friend of mine many years ago, gosh, it was like 25 years ago. A friend of mine, I was living in Chicago. She was from Chicago. She was sang in a church choir, but also a community choir. And the community choir had asked her to do a solo. She's a really good singer. And she told me she had agreed to do this solo, and then she didn't know why. She'd agreed because she was terrified. I'm like, you're afraid of singing a solo? She wasn't afraid of like failing. She shared with me then, and I'd known her for like 5 years. She'd never told me this, that years before, when she was really, not a teenager, but in her early 20s, she'd done a solo with the singing group and then walked home and was assaulted. And even though she knew that this was illogical to still be afraid of singing solo, she was aware that it was a thing in her body. She didn't know what to do about it. And she, by the way, I don't know if she was then, but she is now a therapist. So, who uses Reiki? She took my classes. Anyway, she asked me if I could help because she was committed to doing this to singing the solo, and she was afraid she'd be paralyzed with fear. Whoa. Okay. So I gave her a session from a distance. I was in my house, she was in hers. I don't know, the day before, pretty close to the event. And I never have an intention when I do Reiki. I just share my Reiki hands. Your body has its own intention. Your body handles what it needs. And she said she felt very relaxed and wonderful, and she went to her solo and she wasn't afraid. And she's never been afraid. She's doing solos like crazy from that from that on. Isn't that something? It's really amazing. And it's not like I went in and adjusted something and did no, I just shared my Reiki hands. And that was released. Her body knew what to do. So if you have, and I think it would have helped that woman, therapy, fine, do the therapy too. But Reiki helps on the cellular level, helps you to restore balance. It really truly does, about big things like that and also little things. So also things like if you're afraid, if you've had a horse accident, you're afraid to get back on, Reiki helps. You also need a good trainer. Maybe your horse needs a better trainer if you had a bad accident, but it helps to release that block, that fear, that tight, from your body. It just does. So I wanted to share that with you. It helps animals too, of course. Um, Anxious animals, that it's based in fear usually. I mean, some of them are just born with funny nervous systems. Reiki also helps with that. But if a dog had a bad experience or a horse had a bad experience, rescues usually, Reiki really helps to help restore that balance. And if you experience it yourself, if you feel it, oh yeah, it's really true. It's not magic. It's just really true. Our bodies are amazing. So that's all. I just wanted to share that with you. If you have any issues with fear or other emotions that are holding you back, you might want to consider a few Reiki sessions. Thanks for listening. My name's Pam Sorellis of Winged Horse Healing, and you can learn more about me and Reiki at wingedhorsehealing.com. Talk to you soon. Bye.